after having counseled so many students for CFA, especially the ones who are quite early on in, they've just given their 12th and they're about to enter the undergraduate and they're thinking about what to do. For some reason, they hear about CFA. They've not done enough research on it, but somehow something about CFA really resonates. And I know students who start getting excited that I'm going to do CFA, I'm going to do CFA. Now, while that's great, I've also heard the same audience telling me, but it's so difficult, it's going to be more difficult than CA, and before CFA, let me do CA so I'll be prepared for CFA. And then when I asked the details of this to the students, that how are you believing such things? How are you commenting on such things? It turns out that they don't know what CFA is about. They don't know what it covers. They don't know the full form of CFA. So if you're in that category of students who want to do CFA somehow because it sounds good, but you have not done enough research on it, this video is for you. Here are 7 myths about CFA which we are going to debunk today. So myth number 1, CFA's passing rate is extremely low. Like I said, some students say that it's tougher than CA. There's no two ways about it. CA is much more difficult than any of these other qualifications based on the passing rate. CFA level 1 passing rate is 45% approximately. Level 2 is 50%. Level 3 is 55%. CA, all 3 levels are all in single digits passing rate. CFA, it actually becomes easier as you progress per level, whereas for CA, the lowest level is the easiest and then more difficult and more difficult. So if you come out of CA, you really have to navigate through the toughest of the exams. So the passing rate of CFA is much higher than CA, and because of the way the exams are of CFA, of CA, there's a difference. CFA's passing rate is not as bad as many people think. Myth number 2, you need a background in finance. Basics of finance need to be concrete before you take up CFA. Now, while the CFA Board Institute expects that you have some understanding of finance, if you do not feel that you're not ready for CFA. There's something called the CFA Investment Foundation Program, CIFP, on the website, which is created by the institute to help you with the base. So even if you think you've not done your regular BCom or BAF or BFM or BBA and you want to do CFA, you literally can do this program at your own pace, finish it in a few days, and then you'll be prepared for level 1. Myth number 3, if I do CFA, I will be only able to do investment banking. Now, it's ironic. A lot of people want to get into investment banking and that's why they pick up CFA. It's important for us to know that in India, to get into investment banking, while CFA is great, MBA is more required in India. In other countries, CFA gets you into investment banking. That being said, CFA does not only open avenues for you into the investment banking field, it opens up avenues for you in the entire field of finance, which covers things such as your equity research, where you study different companies and you decide whether to buy or sell them for short-term and long-term gains. There's portfolio management, where you take savings of people or of corporations, invest them across the world, and then give them a higher return, and in turn you keep a small fee. There are a lot of people who start their own boutique firms, right? You can start your own portfolio management little firm. You can start your own investment banking little firm, and if you have that entrepreneurial zeal in you, you can even take that into account. We made a video on this. There are colleagues of mine who are in CRISIL, which is a credit rating agency, level 3 cleared. So CFA opens up avenues much further and wider than just investment banking. Myth number 4, CFA is extremely expensive. Now I get it. Expensiveness is subjective. But that being said, right, CFA you can finish between 2.5-3 lakhs over a period of 3 years on an average, assuming you don't fail, obviously. Now, I get it completely. For some people, it's expensive, but I know for a fact the people watching these videos with the ability to earn money, and you have finance partners. And when you think about education, if you're thinking of going overseas and spending 50 lakhs, 1 CR in places for your masters or your MBA, if you can afford that, or you're in a position where you can even think of that, 2.5-3 lakhs is really, it's worth the education, because it's not that you just have to spend and study. You can also work along with it and earn back. And at the end of the day, 2.5-3 lakhs, if you're going to spend on anything in your life, spend it on yourself, spend it on education, because you can almost guarantee a return which is higher by investing this 2-3 lakhs than any trip you can take or anything else that you can buy. So as an expensive course, it's really not something to worry about. Myth number 5, CFA and FRM are the same thing. Again, very confusing why people think like that. FRM is a specialization in risk management. CFA is a specialization in the field of finance and investment management. A lot of people think they overlap. Sure, there are certain topics and subjects that overlap, but the same thing applies to CA and CFA or ACCA and CFA. FRM does have more of financial risk, but what you study is different. What you become at the end of FRM and CFA is different. A lot of people start FRM after the 12th and then finish it and then complete CFA. It's a good combination, but to think that they are the same thing, don't. So if you want to do CFA, doesn't mean you necessarily have to do FRM. Understand what FRM is and then take a call on completing CFA. Next, CFA cannot be done together with MBA. We made a video on what is the right time to do CFA, MBA, and when to start each other. So should you do CFA before MBA, after MBA? And we have a very elegant solution where you at least do level 1 before you get into a good MBA college, and then maybe level 2 and 3 you can do during or after. Because there are advantages that it will give you in your MBA with respect to placements. That being said, I have personal friends who've gone to IIM Trichy and they have studied CFA while they were in college. So the fact that you can't do it is absolutely wrong. You definitely can. It is difficult. You need to put an effort. But again, if you're the kind to get into an IIM or you want to do MBA and you're really studying hard for your CAT and GMAT and you get in, I'm assuming that you have the aspiration that you can do both. Do not tell yourself that it's not possible to do it together. And the final, that you need to become a CFA charter holder, which means you finish 3 levels and you finish the work experience expected by the institute to really get the recognition. Now, unlike CA or ACC or CPA, whether you call it licensing or membership or completion of the entire course and work experience does give you the final crown jewel of that course, and you actually are a complete chartered accountant in those respects. CFA in India doesn't have that. If you do CFA level 1, you already get recognized, and likewise with 2 and level 3 alone. At the end of the day, if you're a charter holder, great, you do get the highest respect. But the between being an ACCA affiliate and ACCA member, or being a CPA, you've cleared the CPA exams, but you don't have the CPA license, or you're in your IPCC or you're in your articleship, but you've not finished final CA. All these have a very large difference between completing and not completing. Whereas for CFA, if you're a level 3 student and a completed candidate and I'm a charter holder, there will be a very minute difference between us, not enough to make you feel that CFA is worthless without being a charter holder. So these are 7 myths that we've seen commonly occurring amongst many students. If any of them have been something in your mind, I hope this brings clarity. And if there's anything we've missed or anything else you'd like us to create, please put it down in the comments.